So we got, hey, Joe, Big Al. I drive a 2020 Nissan Altima and drink Busch Light. Busch Light. Not at the same time. Of course not. Oh.
I'm glad he clarified.
Yeah. Benjamin writes in from Fargo, North Dakota. Knew it was Midwest.
Because of the Busch Light?
Busch Light?
Yeah.
I don't even know where you get that. I guess in the Midwest.
My wife and I are both 40 years old. We make between $215,000 and $235,000 a year, and are always on the border, being able to contribute to Roth IRAs because of our income. We save 13% of our income for retirement. Combined, we have $350,000 in traditional IRAs, $200K in Roth, $130,000 in a taxable brokerage account, $120,000 in my 401K. I have the option to contribute to my 401K in a traditional or Roth. A couple of questions for you. Should I start contributing to my Roth 401K or to the traditional 401K, or a combination? How do you calculate that? And then an ideal situation, what percentage would be in Roth, traditional IRAs, and taxable accounts to give you the most flexibility in retirement? Love this show. Wish it was more than once a week. Thank you, Benjamin. Great questions here. Where do we start? I mean, we could get super scientific.
I know.
Right?
It's the real answer is kind of complicated.
It's very complicated.
Let's try to make it simple if we can.
Okay, so the real simple terms is this: is here's my real life suggestion.
Okay.
Or just talking, right?
Yeah, talking points.
Yes.
Maybe this is what you would do.
This is what I would do.
Okay.
Right. And I don't make anywhere near the big bucks that Ben makes.
Yeah, we're just in radio. It doesn't pay that well.
Not even that. It's just a chunky podcast. No offense, Andy. Sorry.
Thanks.
A great podcast. It's just the two hosts.
It's the two of us.
Yeah.
We're still waiting for the new host to come in.
Yeah, we are.
All right. So here's what I would do is that I would go 100% Roth. You're 40 years old. You're not going to miss the tax that you're paying today. And what I mean by that is this, is that if you put money, real simple example, if you think of it like this, and maybe hopefully this can clear it up once and for all, but but CPAs, not CPAs, Alan, because he's a CPA, has a different opinion sometimes because he gets granular in the numbers. But I think we both agree that over time, you're 40 years old and you're saving a ton of money. And he's saving 13% of his income. So what is that? 13%. So he's saving like $26,000 a year.
Sure.
Okay. So he saves $25,000 a year. And let's assume that he goes all pre-tax.
Right.
And I'm just going to put a 25% tax bracket, even though that doesn't exist, but I know the math. He owes around $6,000 in tax. I mean, he saves $6,000 in tax. You put $26,000 in
In a traditional
401k plan,
Yep.
Right? You get the tax deduction, and boom, you save $6,000. So now let's say that $26,000 grows to $260,000.
Right.
Right? And you pull that money out, you have to pay tax, right?
Sure.
And he's a pretty good saver, right? Sounds like it.
Yeah.
He's got quite a bit of money saved at 40 years old. They make a couple $100,000 a year, right? He's got what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost $1 million saved at 40.
Right.
Pretty good.
Very good. Yeah.
Right.
Great.
So that $26,000 grows to $260,000, let's say over the next 20 some odd years. And then he pulls the money out at the same exact tax bracket. So the $6,500 savings that he got today, he's going to have to pay that back to the IRS. And he's going to have to pay it in spades because every single dollar of growth is going to be taxed. So he pulls the $260 out, he's going to owe $65,000 in taxes, assuming the same tax bracket, right? Is my math somewhat good?
Yeah, no, that's right. Although it's probably not going to be 260. That would be quite a.
Well, sure. I'm just
call it 100.
Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. He has to pay the tax deduction back.
He does.
He has to take right. So if you're going to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement, which a lot of people are, don't get me wrong. Most people are in a lower tax bracket in retirement, but not the people that listen to this show because they save money. Most people don't have I was going to say, they don't have a dime. They don't have a Busch Light to drink.
Right. So I agree with you. And plus, and here's maybe a little bit more color, the way I think about it. So you're in the 24% bracket. That's actually a decent bracket. That's probably lower than you will be potentially even in retirement. Probably in retirement, you'll be in what will be the 25% bracket. So you're not losing anything there. The fact that you're 40, you have all this time for this to grow tax-free. And I do agree with you, Joe. When people get the tax deduction and save an extra $6,000 or whatever the number is, they by and large spend it. And so if it's out of sight, out of mind, growing tax-free, I think in most cases, you're going to be in a better spot for people that save. Now, completely opposite. If you don't save,
and you need every dollar and every,
then do the tax deduction. You're not going to be in that high bracket anyway, because you're not saving that much. So these are for people that are saving where their required minimum distribution is going to be high in the future.
right. Or their living expenses might be higher, or maybe they're not really big spenders, but they're big savers.
Right.
So the technical answer to get to his other question is how much money should I have in Roth versus 401k versus blah, 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 blah. To map this out, you would want to look at, okay, you still want to take advantage of the standard deduction or whatever your Schedule A is, because all of that money coming out of a retirement account is going to be sheltered by that standard deduction. So you don't want to have everything 100% in Roth IRAs or brokerage accounts. You still want to have money in a 401k or IRA to take that tax deduction, but you don't want to overdo it. And without really spreadsheeting this whole thing out, it's impossible to answer the question on like a show like this.
It is, because you got to look at your fixed income and what your income brackets are. And ideally, you would have enough in an IRA so that when you take your required minimum distributions, you stay in the lowest bracket.
Yep.
I mean, that would be ideal.
Perfect.
Are you prepared for retirement? Schedule a free financial assessment with an experienced financial professional right online at purefinancial.com.